Why wouldn't I expand my mind? It's the only power I got. All right. What is up, beautiful people? I am KG, and I am back with another book review. Okay, so this one is right up our radar, but it's different than what I've done in the past, which is wild to me. But it's time to step on out and give our culture some love, you know what I'm saying? So today I'm going to be discussing the none other boss himself, the Mr. Everyday I'm hustling, Ricky Rose. Ricky Rose, I salute you, my man. You done your thing in this book. And I can't go on without giving my man some love. Neil Martinez Belkin, he helped assist write this book. Shout outs to you, my man. You did an amazing job also. So, Rick Ross has a book called The Perfect Day to Boss Up. Now, if you've seen some of my other book reviews, you know I am a big fan when it comes to covers. I love great covers, man. And Ricky Rose did his thing on there. That's a nice gray. It's like very subtle, but it's like powerful at the same time. I love that. And then you got that nice 3D shiny black, and of course that luxury gold up there. And, you know, the boss himself, Ricky Ross. But enough of all that. This is just the characteristics of the book. You know, it's not too long. I got done this book in about right under 2 weeks. Right under 2 weeks. It was maybe like 8 days. 8 to 9 days. I got this book done. A good reason why I say that also is because the way he communicates with us in this book, it's like he's telling us in a story form. It's not so much of like factual and like science and lists and things like that. He's just really he's just really chopping it up with us. You know what I'm saying? The way he describes things, and he relates it all to what we all know to be the coronavirus, which he calls the fungus. And he goes down his basically life story from when the pandemic started up until, and he exposes us to the way he moved, you know what I'm saying? The way he operated, his mindset, you know what I mean? Being an artist, as he explained, and as a lot of us know, a lot of their money come from tours. A lot of the money that they make come from appearances, right? A lot of the moves that they make come from dealing with people and interacting with their fans, the crowd, you know? So when a pandemic came through, they shut all of that down. So a big chunk of this man's income ceased. Now, if y'all think like me, I always found Rick Ross to be a very confident man. Since he came out, you know, he's always was shiny. He always was like talking with like some real good bass and respect in his voice. As he gives respect, he demands the respect. He always stepped through the door like, yes, I am here. Who needs to speak to me? I'm the boss. I'm Ricky Ross. You know what I'm saying? So I've always respected and loved that about this man. So the fact that he lost a big chunk of his money is like, all right, so how did this guy finesse his way through this pandemic? You know what I mean? So he goes into all of that. He goes into from the very first moment he realized that there was a fungus when he got stopped at the airport and it halted everything. And then he goes all the way through, right? And how he just comes to peace with things, and how he's still making bread, and how he's still connecting with people, and how he's like compounding what he already has, and how he's compounding what's in his mind. Collaborations are everything, you know? So he really goes into detail on how he played the game since the pandemic started. So we are talking about a multi-millionaire, okay, whose goal is to get to the billions. And so this is why I decided to read this book. I seen him talking, I think it was on like another YouTube channel, and Ross was talking, and like he got my attention. And the reason why he got my attention is because he knows what he's talking about, because he went through the experiences and he's keeping it 100. And there's nothing that comes out of his mouth. There's no way that he looks at somebody. It's nothing about his persona that says, I'm not trying to help you. He talks and he helps and he laces you up. So this is the reason why I got this book. When they said they mentioned he had a book on there, I immediately ordered that book. You know what I mean? So that's the whole reason why I got this book. That's a little bit of summarization of what's going on in this book. I highly recommend you guys to pick this one up, simply because it's a bio, but it's like just a story base of this time period of his life. So it's kind of refreshing to read storyline books and conversational like books, especially if you are really into self-development books like I am. It's cool to just relax and not have to this book kind of gets your juices flowing and stuff like that, because he reiterates certain things. He makes powerful notions in this thing, powerful points in this thing. It's like the best of both worlds. You got to get the book to see. But it's too much of the intro. Let's just go ahead and cut to the chase and get into the guts of this thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go through the book and give you all the top 6 of what I consider to be Ross's biggest gems. All right, so let's see, once you guys finish hearing these gems from my perspective, I advise you guys to go out and get this book so you can analyze it from your own perspective. That's how we do it. Let's create synergy, people. Let's create synergy. The first thing I want to point out, in Rick Ross's words, he says, when you can't make sense of what you're seeing, don't stare harder. When you're confused by what you're hearing, don't listen harder. Stand back, give yourself some space, and let things come into focus. Stand back, give yourself some space, and let things come into focus. He said, when you can't hear it, don't try to listen harder. Don't do too much. Just chill out. When you're looking for something and you're trying to force it to come into your life, you're not moving with the flow. You're not letting the universe make its rounds, bro. Just chill out. Just chill out and focus, right? He just says, just chill out and let things come. It's kind of like this, when you have a lens and you're like turning it to focus it, but the more you turn it, like you still gonna always get that blurry because it's still trying to focus. But if you just stop it, it will, and then it will just focus on its own. But you gotta relax. You can't keep moving it. You know what I mean? So I found that to be a very great gem to read, because in those midst of hard times, or in those midst of feeling like you've been doing the work and now you're ready to get some money showers, you know what I mean? In those moments, don't start hyperventilating. Don't start over moving and overdoing and breaking up the flow because you trying to hurry up and make it to that dollar. Just chill out. Don't think too hard about it. You already know what you're doing. Commit yourself to the practice and just let it flow. Okay, so into the second of my favorite gems in this book, it's on chapter 4, and the name of this chapter is Empires Are Built Brick by Brick. So on page 73, he says, having game is having knowledge. Now, think about it, okay? Think about it. Having game. What does game mean? So let's think about it in an actual board game kind of way. Having game, right? Let's say that you play chess. To have game means that you know how to make moves. You're laced up. To be laced up is to have knowledge, right? So then he goes and says, you acquire knowledge through learning, all right? So he has a point in here that says, before you earn, you can learn. And then he goes in and says, learn the step-by-step process of working your way up the ladder in your chosen study, okay? Work the step-by-step process of working your way up to get to where you're trying to go, right? He says, study the moves of the ones who did it before you and learn from their stories. Shout out to my high school football coach, Walt Frazier. Shout out to Kenneth Williams. Shout out to Tony Draper, Jay Prince, Puff Daddy, and Jay-Z. The list goes on. My OGs blessed me with a lot of game. Once you've acquired enough game, you'll be ready to get to work. Focus on sharpening your skills and mastering your technique. Invest in the development and building your value up. So this is you know what I mean? I love that. And that's why I make the key point, find your OGs. So in the game that you're trying to play, right? In your game, in discovering what your gift is, right? Discovering what you really want to do with the world. How you going to play the world, right? How you going to live the life you want to live in this world? What you going to do? How you going to play the game? So what he suggests is go and find people who has done it too. Go and find people who has done it before you and who are successful. Go and find these people. Call them mentors, call them coaches. We gonna call them OGs for the sake that these are the original game players. You know what I mean? So go and find those original game players that who has conquered the field that you're trying to be in and learn as much as you can learn. Because when you learn, you grow and you can do so much more because your mind is not being held at a certain capacity that's halting any new information to come in. So go to your OGs, lace it up with them. You know what I mean? Just do what you got to do. Have those conversations because it's in the conversations. It's always in the conversations. So practice one, having a conversation, and practice two, having great conversations with the people who has done it before. So I think that that's a great thing to think about when it comes to how you should be spending your time. If you ain't got nothing, like your main priority, if you're really trying to get to where you're trying to go, is to put yourself in a room full of people who has already done it. So if you don't know what to do on a Saturday, you better Google some shit. You better Google what event has this type of person that I love. Who's doing a book club this weekend? Are there any book launches this weekend? You feel me? Like, are there any authors trying to expose themselves this weekend? Let me pull up because that's the field that I want to grow in. Let me go talk to them. You know what I mean? So put yourself in a position where you're learning from the best. That way you could become the best. So shout out to Ricky Rose. Again, you are doing it, my man. This was an amazing book. Let me go ahead on to gem number 3. Okay, so Ross has a chapter in here named Stack Your Paper. And so in this particular chapter, it looks like I've dumped literally my book and highlighter. Like, he did so well with describing how wealth should be thought about. Man, it's crazy. He goes, once you've built up your rainy day fund in case of emergencies, you can start acquiring assets that earn passive income. Bosses don't just work for money. They put their money to work. Whether it's buying stocks, bonds, or real estate, you want to work toward establishing passive streams of income. Assets are a key part of accumulating wealth. Work leads to money. Money leads to assets. Assets leads to wealth. Let me go back. He says, whether it's through buying stocks, bonds, or real estate, you want to work toward establishing passive streams of income. Assets are a key part of accumulating wealth. Assets. Work leads to money, so you gotta work first so you can get some money. Get the money so you can get some assets, because assets is wealth. Assets is wealth. And I guess as long as you're owning something, you got something under your belt, right? He says, If you spend everything you earn, an increase in money will just result in an increase in spending, and you'll never be able to build wealth. The best thing that money will ever buy you is some peace of mind. When you get to a certain level of money, it takes the pressure off and frees you up to focus you on things you really care about. Financial freedom is life's greatest stress reliever, and you'll never achieve it if you spend your money as fast as you accumulate it. So stay focused on stacking your paper. And he points out another good thing right here. He goes, because it's not just the storms you need to prepare for, you have to be ready for life's blessings too. Times of peace are when you're prepared for battle, okay? You need to remain war ready. Let's break that down real quick, all right? Let's break that down. He says, you need to remain war ready. We know what that means, remaining war ready. Be ready to protect and defend. You're doing your part on preparing to be war ready, meaning you activating your mind, meaning you're fueling yourself with the right things, you hydrating your soul, you making sure that you giving back and you receiving just as much as you giving. That's getting war ready. And this is why you need to be war ready. This is what he says. Look, because it's not just the storms you prepare for, you have to be ready for life's blessings too. So you getting war ready, you're getting in a position to protect and defend, not only for rainy days, but really when the opportunity is there in your face, in your lap. Everything that you've been asking and dreaming for is in your hand, in the physical. You better be worried. You better be in a position to protect and defend whatever you got going on, so that you can hold on to the abundance that come with feeding your mind, feeding your soul and your spirit and your creativity, and making sure that you thriving. Everything that comes with that is yours. So you got to learn to defend. So you got to learn to protect and defend this and this. Okay? So Ricky Rose, Mr. Neil, great job on that gym. Amazing job on that gym. I was there. I was right there with y'all. Man, that was perfect. That was perfect. So at the beginning of chapter 6, he made a comment saying, I'm an artist and entertainer before anything else. I need to be able to focus on what I do best and delegate other tasks to people that I trust. One day I had this epiphany in the car and I was just like, I'm gonna be rich. I feel like I've just been woke. So I am grateful to be able to see things like this from other people's minds, because it just solidifies the notion that I already knew. It's delegation, my people. It's delegation. Figure out your system, all right? The way you figure out your system is figure out who you want to be and what you want to do. And then go from the bottom. What is your main goal? What is the biggest thing you could dream about? Figure that out, and then you retrospect, okay? So then you go back, and then you figure out what you need to do in the betweens, and it reaches to where you are right now. Understand what that process is. Understand who and what you're going to need as you grow through this process, right? Once you figure that out and you touch some of these things, delegate immediately. Get something out of your hands. Get something out of your hands so that you can utilize that time to double up on your money. That is called compound time, compound money. Do what you got to do. Put your money on delegating certain tasks that you don't want to do and give it to somebody else who specializes in that, so you can focus on doing what you specialize in at. So that's a powerful gem. Delegation. The moment you got any extra money to spend or any extra resources to spend on giving that task to someone else, do what you got to do. All right, so let's move on to gem number 6. Chapter 14. Let your actions speak for you. Especially as a growing entrepreneur, someone who has just gotten in the game, a beginning entrepreneur, especially for beginning entrepreneurs. Do you know when you're trying to get your brand out there, or you're trying to connect with people and get in some circle, build your network? You know, when you're really trying to grow, sometimes we could think, I have to give away. I have to beg for an opportunity, right? I have to go through hoops and prove myself for an opportunity to communicate, to talk, right? Let's think of just your favorite artist. Let's think of if it was Ricky Rose. You know what I mean? You got a brand, and you would love it if he could rep that brand for you. So you automatically think that's like some type of mind out this world kind of thought. Why is it that we could get our minds accustomed to that? So Ricky Rose made a point saying, make yourself a can't miss opportunity for someone else. Put yourself in a position where you're not begging somebody to look at you, but you're a person that they need to look at. So that means you have to come into who you're supposed to be. That means you got to walk that walk and you got to talk that talk. You really got to become the person that you're looking to be. Because when you do that, when you make sure that you involve yourself in those practices, you become way more confident. And when you're confident, you expose yourself to the world like you know what you're talking about, and you're willing and ready and waiting to learn. So when you come from that kind of mindset, he literally gives his address for you to drop your merch off. Okay? He gives the address for you to literally ship your goods to him. And I guess if it connects with him, he'll do what he gotta do. You gotta get the book. All right. But I love that quote. Make yourself a can't miss opportunity for someone else. He also asks this question, and I love this one. Listen, it made me think. Is it better to play things safe? Is betting big on yourself a risk worth taking? Man. How many of us had great ideas and then we started hating on ourselves? We started hating on our own self. We got bright ideas. And we won't invest in ourselves, but we'll go invest in the rest of America. We'll go spend our money somewhere else before I spend my money on what I gotta do for me and for the people around me. If I have some kind of knowledge, if there's something I know how to build, make, think about, if there's something I can do to add value, why would I not invest in myself? So you telling me that you're not worth the risk of what? Trying your best? Let's think about that. So I love that he asked that question, right? Because it made me start thinking, how many times did I procrastinate on something I really wanted to do because I knew it was going to add value, but I started downplaying it to a point where I'm like this with it now. I done drew up this whole plan, and then now I'm just like, giving myself excuses to not invest in myself. Why? What's the fear? Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Make the bet to yourself that I can do this. I can step into this arena, figure out what needs to be done for my dream to come true, and do what you gotta do. Then he makes this last point and says, when it all comes together and all those early mornings and late nights pay off, that's when you're going to see the confetti start to fall from the sky. Poof! That man said, when it all comes together and all those early mornings and late nights pay off, that's when you're going to see the confetti start to fall from the sky. And he said, poof. Bet on yourself and do what you got to do. because it's all gonna come together. It's gonna all come together. You're gonna have a whole bunch of different pieces floating around in your mind. But it's gonna take for you to learn how to organize your mind. It's gonna take for you to figure out who and what you need to make things happen. It's gonna take for you to build the strategy. It's gonna take for you to find the people to put in place. It's gonna take for you to connect it to the people that you, it's gonna take a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to bet on yourself. But who else are you expecting to do it? You deserve to bet on yourself. You deserve to go through the process of all of that I just mentioned. Because when you go through that process, you literally become a better person. You literally become the best version of yourself. So give yourself a chance to see that. How does that work? How does that person work? How does that person sleep? How does that person eat? How does that person think? What does that person dream about at that point? You know what I mean? So like, you gotta understand too, the ideas and dreams that you have right now, as you continue to grow, your mind gonna continue to evolve. So you're gonna continue to have dreams and you'll continue to go through this cycle. You just get stronger and stronger at it. And then you start learning certain things and avenues to, get around those corners a lot quicker. And then it's just a compound effect at that point, baby. You feel me? So that's the type of mindset we gotta have when we go into this thing. But you deserve to bet on yourself, man. Great job, y'all. That was an amazing gem. On to the last one, and we gonna wrap this thing up. I hope y'all enjoying this just as much as I did. I really enjoyed reading this book. Again, it's called The Perfect Day to Be a Boss by Rick Ross. On to this last gem. I really connected with it. I connected with it because I feel like the way my mind operates, the things that I want in my world, it is definitely because of this quote right here. If your idea of success only benefits you, you're not really successful. My idea of success is not only beneficial to me, it's beneficial to the ones closest to me, my loved ones, my family. It's beneficial to their people. It's beneficial to my fans, peers, my society, my community, my world, the people that think like me, the people that's wanting to think and grow, the people that's wanting to live this fulfilled life. It's connecting and benefiting all of them people. It's definitely benefiting the youth. I'm literally connecting all the pieces that I can to make sure that I touch as many people as I can. I'm doing something not for me, but for all of y'all. As many people as I can. And that's how I know that my gift is for me. That's how I know, and I'm so grateful that I found what my gift is. To motivate people to believe in their highest potential. So what am I going to do to do that? It's whatever gift that you have, whatever dream that you have, whatever success means to you, it has to not be only beneficial to you. You have to give the universe a way to get it through you to someone else. And if you're thinking only for it to stop at you, you're not doing the rest of us any justice. So it's not going to come back to you. You're blocking it. So do us all a favor and yourself so it could come back at you in an abundant way. Just think about a big circle and all of us just grabbing a ball and bringing it around. Like, it's so much knowledge that's going to touch that ball. Once it gets back to you, it's like, mind blown. So don't stop it, because you're not only halting yourself, but you're halting all of us. Don't be selfish with your dream, man. Think big, dream big for everybody. We need that. We need that from you and your mind. So yeah. That was that. That book was amazing, yo. It wasn't that long. Again, I got done in a week and a half. If you really just want to sit down and have a good soak, or just like be at peace one good morning and just read that whole thing, I'm pretty sure you can if you're a quick reader. But again, always do what you can to grow your mind, develop your mind. Try to connect with as many positive mentalities as you can so that we can all evolve and build this world up to the best of our abilities in a positive way. Let's go ahead and share love as much as we can. Let's go ahead and share knowledge as much as we can. Let us know what you're working on. Let us know what you're creating. What can we do to support you? I am here, guys. If you are an author, let me know. I'll be happy to do a book review on your book. I'll be happy to go ahead and promote your world and whatever you got going on. All my bookworms, all my authors, y'all can follow me at Library Invasion on IG, okay? On Instagram, Library Invasion. You know, go ahead and send me a message. Let me know what you're doing. Let's chop it up. Let's get to know one another. Let's let this world go round. If you want to follow my personal page, it's at say_2life. I speak a whole lot of positivity. I speak a whole lot of health. I speak a whole lot of love. And I speak a whole lot of confidence, baby. I'm KayyG.Legacy, and I'm building a brand of fulfillment, y'all. Y'all be easy. One love. Peace.